Have you ever wondered what really made Scar the villain we all love to hate? What if the Pride Lands themselves, and even Mufasa, played a part in creating the monster? Let's dive deep into the shadows of Pride Rock and uncover the long, tragic story of Scar. Before he was Scar, he was Taka. In the language of the animals, Taka means dirt or waste. From the very beginning, he was seen as less than his magnificent older brother. Mufasa was the golden child, destined for the throne. Strong, charismatic, and adored by their father. Hadi, on the other hand, was smaller, physically weaker, and possessed a sharp intellect that was often overlooked, or even seen as a threat. Mufasa was groomed for leadership, taught the circle of life, and shown off to the kingdom. Taka was pushed to the side. His intelligence wasn't nurtured for the good of the pride. It was left to fester into cunning and resentment. But the expanded universe, in a book series called The Lion Guard, gives us a chilling origin story. As a young lion, Taka was manipulated by a strange, rogue lion who promised him power. This lion lured him into a trap, where he was bitten by a cobra. The venom didn't kill him, but left a permanent, ugly scar over his eye. He mockingly nicknamed his brother Scar because of the wound. That was the final straw. It was the moment Taka died, and Scar was truly born. The name that was meant as a cruel joke became a badge of identity. Imbrased d'Italiano. He let the bitterness symbolized by that scar define him completely. It was a constant, physical reminder of betrayal, not just from a rogue lion, but from his own brother. So Scar began to seek allies, in the one place no one else would look. The elephant graveyard. He found kinship with the hyenas, Shenzi, Bonsai, and Ed. To the pride, the hyenas were dirty, idiotic scavengers, the lowest of the low, but Scar saw something else. He saw a marginalized, hungry, and powerful group that was just as fed up with the status quo as he was. He didn't see them as inferiors. He saw them as a means to an end, and perhaps the only ones who truly understood his feeling of being an outcast. He promised them a future where their bellies would never be empty. A future where they would be respected. Was he just using them? Absolutely. But he was also the first leader to ever give them a voice, to validate their suffering. He spoke their language of hunger and desperation. This alliance wasn't just a random act of villainy. It was a calculated political move, a rebellion of the have-nots against the haves. This brings us to that fateful day in the gorge. The plan to kill Mufasa and Simba wasn't just born of simple jealousy over the throne. It was the culmination of a lifetime of resentment, a desperate, twisted attempt to finally prove his own worth. He had been told his whole life that he was nothing, that Mufasa's strength was all that mattered. So, Scar decided to use his own strength, his mind to dig. Mufasa's down. Long live the king. That line is chilling because it's not just a declaration of murder. It's a declaration of his own ascent. For the first time, he's the one in power. The name calling, the mockery, the years of being second-bested, all led to this moment. And his manipulation of Simba afterward is pure psychological genius. He turned Simba's love for his father into a weapon against him. Now, let's look at Scar's reign. It was, by all accounts, a complete disaster. The Pride Lands withered, the herds left, and starvation became rampant. The movie paints this as a simple consequence of his evil nature. But is it that simple? Scar broke the rules of the circle of life by allowing the hyenas to overhunt. He disrupted the delicate balance. But why? Remember his promise to the hyenas. He was trying to fulfill it. He was trying to create the inclusive society he'd envisioned, where everyone, even the scavengers, got a piece of the pie. The problem was, his vision was built on a foundation of bitterness, not wisdom. He didn't understand balance. He only understood power and appeasement. He was a brilliant strategist, but a terrible administrator. He knew how to take power, but not how to wield it for the good of the land. His famous song, "Be Prepared," is a masterpiece of manipulation. He preys on the hyenas' hunger and ambition, painting a picture of a glorious future. But listen closely, he's also revealing his own deep-seated insecurities. He craves respect. He craves being lauded. He craves everything Mufasa had so effortlessly. His entire reign was a desperate attempt to create the respect he was never given. But it backfired spectacularly because he tried to force it through fear rather than earn it through leadership. Even Zazu, Mufasa's loyal majordomo, becomes a source of pathetic entertainment for Scar, turning a symbol of Mufasa's orderly kingdom into his personal plaything. Every action he takes as king is a twisted reflection of the life he was denied. The final confrontation with Simba is incredibly telling. When Simba returns, Scar doesn't immediately fight. He resorts to his old tricks. Psychological manipulation. He once again forces Simba to admit his guilt over Mufasa's death in front of the whole pride. He's trying to win the same way he always has with his words. Weed his mind. It's only when he's backed into a corner, when his own arrogance makes him confess the truth, that he resorts to physical violence. And in that final fight, we see the truth. For all his cunning, he is no match for a prime, powerful lion like Simba. He has to cheat, throwing embers in Simba's face to gain an advantage. It proves what he's known his whole life. He can't win on strength alone. His intellect is his only true weapon. His downfall is the ultimate irony. He's cornered by the very allies he empowered. He tries to save his own skin by blaming everything on the hyenas, calling them the enemy. But he forgot the most important rule of dealing with outcasts. You've empowered. They have long memories. The hyenas, who he once called his friends, heard his betrayal, and they were the ones to deliver the final blow. He rose to power by championing the outcasts, and he was destroyed when he betrayed them. His life ended just as it was lived, consumed by the very darkness he cultivated. So, was Scar just born evil? I don't think so. A victim of neglect, emotional abuse, and a rigid system that had no place for someone like him. His story is a tragedy. It's a cautionary tale about what happens when potential is soured by bitterness, when intelligence is warped by resentment. He wasn't the hero of his own story, but he certainly wasn't just a two-dimensional villain either. He was Taka, the lion who was named for dirt, and he spent his entire life trying, and tragically failing, to claw his way out of it. What do you think? Does knowing his Mufasa and his contempt for the circle of life were festering long before Simba was born? When Simba arrived, he wasn't just a nephew to Scar. He was the final obstacle, the living embodiment of everything Scar felt he was denied. Think about it from Scar's perspective. Twisted as it was, he saw himself as the rightful, more intelligent heir, sidelined by brute strength and tradition. His Beriname Scar suggests a past wound, a constant reminder of being second-best. This wasn't just a power grab, it was a deeply personal vendetta. And then there's young Simba, a cub full of innocence and bravado. He looked up to his uncle Scar. Remember that scene where Scar manipulates Simba, telling him the elephant graveyard is a place for the brave? It's chilling because it's not just a lie, it's a grooming process. Scar preys on Simba's desire to prove himself, to be just like his mighty father. He twists a child's admiration into a weapon against him. This is the foundation of their tragic relationship, a mix of feigned affection and pure, cold-blooded manipulation. It's what makes the stampede scene so devastating. It's not just the death of a king, it's the ultimate betrayal by a trusted family member. Scar's most cruel and masterful stroke wasn't killing Mufasa, it was convincing Simba that it was his fault. Run away, Simba. Run away and never return. With those words, he doesn't just banish Simba physically, he exiles him psychologically. He infects Simba with a lifetime of guilt and shame. This is the shadow that follows Simba into the jungle. He adopts Hakuna Matata philosophy, not just because it's catchy, but as a defense mechanism. It's a desperate attempt to outrun his past, to forget the terrible burden he believes he carries. He can't face his responsibility because he believes he is a monster, a king-killer. Meanwhile, back in the Pride Lands, Scar's reign is a perfect reflection of his inner self. Barren, consumed, and out of balance, he breaks the circle of life because he never believed in it. He saw it as a system that kept him down, so he dismantles it entirely. The hyenas are given free rein, the resources are depleted, and the land withers. This isn't just poor leadership. It's the physical manifestation of his own bitterness and emptiness. He got the crown, he got the power, but it brought him no satisfaction. Only a kingdom of ashes that mirrored his own soul. He is a king of nothing, ruling over his own misery. Years pass, and Nala's arrival shatters Simba's self-imposed exile. The confrontation with Rafiki is the turning point. It's not just a funny scene with a stick. It's a spiritual awakening. Rafiki forces Simba to look into the water, to see his reflection. And who does he see? Mufasa, he lives in you. This is the moment Simba finally understands. He hasn't destroyed his father's legacy. He is his father's legacy. The guilt begins to recede, replaced by a sense of duty. The shadow of Scar's lie starts to lift, and Simba realizes he can't run from who he is. He is the one true king. The return to Pride Rock is more than just a physical journey. It's Simba returning to the scene of his trauma, to reclaim his identity. When he confronts Scar, it's not the terrified cub anymore. It's a king, ready to face his demon. The final battle is spectacular, but the most powerful moment is the verbal confrontation. Simba forces Scar to admit the truth, not just to the pride, but to himself. Tell them the truth. It's Simba reclaiming the narrative, taking back the power that Scar stole from him all those years ago. He is not just fighting for the kingdom, he's fighting for the little cub who was told he was a murderer. And what about Scar's end? It's poetic justice. He is brought down not by Simba directly, but by his own deceit. He tries to blame the hyenas, the very allies he empowered, and they turn on him. His life of manipulation and betrayal ends with the ultimate betrayal. He spent his whole life breaking circles, only to be consumed by the vicious circle of treachery he himself created. He couldn't escape the consequences of his own actions, but even with Scar gone, his shadow remains. Simba must now learn to rule a broken kingdom and heal a traumatized pride. He has to step into his father as Paw Prince, while grappling with the scars both literal and metaphorically left by his uncle. He has to rebuild the circle of life that Scar so gleefully shattered. The story doesn't just end with a roar on Pride Rock. The real work begins after the credits roll. Simba's victory isn't just about defeating a villain. It's about overcoming trauma, accepting responsibility, and restoring balance, not just to the land, but to his own soul. So, when Shadows Return isn't about Scar coming back from the dead, it's about the recurring shadows of our past, the lies we were told, and the guilt we carry. Simba's journey teaches us that we can't outrun these shadows. We have to turn, face them, and understand that they don't define us. We have to look in the reflection and see the king or queen that lives within us. The story of Simba and Scar is a timeless reminder that true strength isn't about having no fear or no pain. It's about facing it and choosing to step into the light. What do you think is the most tragic part of their story? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for done. Kiongozi mi leader in Swahili far from Pride Rock in the remote outlands, teaching him not of Scar's tyranny, but of his intelligence and charisma. A skewed but loving perspective. Kiongozi grows up isolated, hearing only tales of his father as supposed greatness and the usurper Simba, who stole his birthright. He inherits Scar's cunning, his dark mane, and his piercing green eyes. But from his mother, he learns compassion and a sense of justice that Scar never possessed. He is a paradox, a walking contradiction of his heritage. Meanwhile, in the thriving Pride Lands, Simba and Nala's kingdom is at peace. They have Kiara, their adventurous daughter, and a younger son, the leader of the Lion Guard. But let's add another character to the royal family, a slightly older son, born before Kiara. Let's call him Jabari, meaning brave one. Jabari is everything a prince should be, strong, noble, and deeply loyal to his father. He embodies the golden legacy of Mufasa and Simba. The circle of life, however, has a way of turning in unexpected ways. A severe drought, worse than any in living memory, grips the Pride Lands. The animals are suffering, and the land is dying. Simba's wisdom is tested as the waterholes dry up and the herds begin to migrate away. Desperate, he sends his son Jabari on a perilous quest to the treacherous elephant graveyard, following a whispered legend of a hidden spring that saved the pride during Mufasa's time. It is here, in the shadowy canyons and geothermal vents, that destiny brings the two lions together. Jabari, the golden prince of the light, finds himself face to face with Kiongozi, the dark heir of the shadows. Neither knows the other's true identity. Jabari sees a rogue lion, a squatter in his ancestral lands. Kiongozi sees an arrogant intruder, a symbol of the family that wronged his own. Their first encounter is explosive. They clash in a battle of equals. Strength against cunning, power against agility. Jabari is taken aback by the stranger's ferocity, while Kiongozi is surprised by the prince's raw power and refusal to back down. The fight ends in a stalemate, with both lions nursing their wounds and their pride, a grudging respect growing between them. Forced by circumstance to navigate the dangerous graveyard together to find the spring, they begin a tense alliance. Jabari, ever the diplomat, tries to understand this mysterious lion. Kiongozi, suspicious but intrigued, slowly lets his guard down. They share stories of their lives, carefully omitting the names of their fathers. Jabari speaks of a just and noble king. Kiongozi talks of a brilliant leader who was betrayed. They discover they share a surprising amount in common. A deep sense of responsibility, a desire to protect their own, and a loneliness that comes with their respective burdens. Jabari feels the weight of his father's legacy, the pressure to be a perfect king. Kiongozi feels the ache of a stolen destiny, the anger of a history he's only been told one side of. The turning point comes when they finally discover the hidden spring, only to find it blocked by a massive rockfall. It's a task neither can accomplish alone. They must work together, combining Jabari's strength with Kiongozi's strategic mind. As they toil, their bond deepens. They cease to be prince and rogue. They become simply two lions fighting for a common goal: survival. After days of effort, they succeed. Water begins to flow again, a trickle at first, 10 I stream. In their shared moment of triumph, the truth is finally revealed. Perhaps Zazu, sent by a worried Simba, finds them. Or perhaps Rafiki, guided by the spirits of the past, appears. In a dramatic confrontation, Rafiki reveals their full heritage. He points to Jabari, son of Simba, and then to Kiongozi, son of Scar. The revelation shatters their newfound camaraderie. The weight of generations of hatred, betrayal, and death crashes down upon them. Jabari sees the face of the monster who murdered his grandfather and nearly destroyed his family. Kiongozi sees the son of the lion who killed his father and cast his family into exile. All the old stories, all the ingrained prejudices, come rushing back. They stand on opposite sides of the newly flowing spring, a symbolic divide between them. The past threatens to consume the present. Kiongozi is torn. His entire life has been built on the idea of avenging his father. But the lion standing before him is not the monster from his mother's tales. He's Jabari, his companion, his equal, his brother, in a strange, twisted way. Jabari is equally conflicted. His duty, his very instinct, screams to fight, to banish this dark legacy from his lands. But he also sees Kiongozi, the lion who fought beside him, the lion who showed him a different kind of strength. How can he hate the individual for the sins of the father? This is the true test. Will they repeat the cycle of violence that defined their fathers? Or can they forge a new path? Kiongozi, remembering his mother's lessons of compassion alongside the tales of Scar's brilliance, makes the first move. He doesn't ask for forgiveness or a place in the pride. He simply acknowledges the truth. He admits his father was a tyrant, but also his father. And Jabari, embodying the wisdom of Mufasa and the heart of Simba, makes a choice that will define the future of the Pride Lands. He sees not the son of Scar, but Kiongozi, a lion of worth and honor. He extends a paw, not in challenge, but in invitation. He proposes they return to Pride Rock together, not as enemies, but as what they are. Their return sends shockwaves through the Pride Lands. Simba is faced with the ghost of his past, the living embodiment of his greatest enemy. To lionesses, especially those who remember Scar's reign, are terrified. But Jabari stands firm, defending Kiongozi. He tells the story of their journey, of their shared struggle and mutual respect. He argues that the circle of life is not just about heritage, but about choice. Kiongozi, for his part, must prove himself. He uses his inherited intelligence not for treachery, but to help solve the problems of the drought, strategizing ways to manage resources and guide the returning herds. He shows the pride that he is not his father. He is his own lion. This story, In Shadow's Return, doesn't erase the past. Scar's shadow is long, and the scars on the Pride lands are deep, but it suggests a powerful theme. That legacy is not a cage. The blood of Simba and Scar flowing in two separate lions, brought together by fate, offers a chance for healing. It's a story about reconciliation, about choosing your own path, and about the idea that even the darkest shadows can be overcome by the light of a new generation. It is a testament to the idea that who you are is more important than who you came from. What do you think of this alternate timeline? Could the Pride Lands ever truly accept a descendant of Scar? Could Simba ever look at his brother's son and not see the monster? It's a complex and fascinating idea to explore. The story of the Lion King is timeless because its themes are universal: family, responsibility, and the struggle between good and evil. And in this untold chapter, we see that sometimes the greatest courage is found in bridging that divide. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the what-ifs of the Pride Lands. If you enjoyed this theory, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next exploration into your favorite stories. Let me know in the comments what you think about Kiongozi and Jabari's story. Until next time, remember that every story has another side.